Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's Work in Progress Wednesday, we're going to be making the Midnight Express. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Like I said, today I am making the Midnight Express. So Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, and then the Rockers. Those were three tag teams I really wanted to make. And I did the Rockers. And I, depending on when I'm able to get this one up on the channel, I either am about to make or have already made the Rock and Roll Express. So it's about time I get to these guys. I know the Rockers don't go with those other two. Those are just three teams I wanted to get to, and I finally got to the Rockers. So on to these guys. Tag teams that growing up I didn't really know. I knew Jim Cornette seemed to always be talking about Midnight Express or Rock and Roll Express. And then in the Attitude Era, the new Midnight Express, I think it was, came back alongside the Rock and Roll Express briefly in the NWA takeover, and for the longest time that's all I knew about them. I have gone back and watched a bunch of tag team stuff. I've really grown to appreciate the Rock and Roll Express quite a bit, but I feel like I can't have one without the other, so I did order these. I got these head sculpts from Tom Veg quite a bit ago. And I am currently waiting for the decals to show up, but I want to get started on these. It's not going to be too much. The hardest part about this was piecing everything together. So the Bobby Eaton is a Jerry Lawler lowers. You can see still got the King design on the side there. So we'll acetone that off. Got the white boots. The torso is from a Mick Foley. Could be a Dude Love figure. And I don't know whose arms those are. And then Stane Lane. It's the Arn Anderson torso. I think those are actually Jerry Lawler's arms. I don't know how those ended up over there. And then Ringmaster thighs. Whose calves do those belong to? Not quite sure. They're shorter calves. Who could they be? I can't think of it off the top of my head. Someone that wore tall boots and has the pale skin tone, and it's just not coming to me. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I have no clue. This is one of those no clue moments. But he's got the tall white boots. Those are some Junkyard Dog boots. Man, where did I get those calves from? It's driving me nuts. Anyway, pretty basic formulas here. The decals are just going to be I think it's like blue or like a orange, purple, and yellow or red. I can't remember. There's some stripes that are going to go across the back of the tights and then down the side here, and then it'll be on the back of the tights over here. I did just go with these two. I did not get the Dennis Condrey head sculpt from Tom Veg. I just decided to go with these two. That was just the two that I knew of or thought of with Midnight Express. They had a Jakks Classic Superstars 2. All right, let's get to it. These are going to be pretty simple. I'm going to paint the crotch piece here black, and then we're going to paint up the head sculpts. I'm going to use Toasted Marshmallow for their blonde hair, their very blonde hair. And it's a little lighter. I don't have a color that I love for some blonde hair. And sometimes you can get away with doing a darker color and the dry brush over, but I feel like that's more for when you're like these guys. I don't know where I'm going with that. I use Toasted Marshmallow. I'm happy with that color. The decals, pretty simple. For Stane Lane, it's just the one on the back of the tights and then on the boots here. And then for Bobby Eaton, it's kind of going to be the same idea, but then he's got the one on he's got the same thing down the sides of his tights. So these decals that Curb Stomp had in here had a few of these stripes. So with the tall boots, I'm going to use two. And then with Bobby Eaton, I could barely find pictures with seeing the sides of their boots. But there was one picture I found and then I lost it. I'm going to have to see if I can find it again, where he had that stripe on the side of his boots and it went all the way down to like the sole of his boot, which I thought looked pretty cool. So that's what I'm gonna do with these as well. And doing this, it's very Wheeler, Utah-esque. That like first Jazzwares figure, the Blood and Guts one we got, that's exactly what this reminds me of here. Here we go. Here is Midnight Express, and relative to some other stuff I've been working on, these were very simple, and I'm okay with that. I think they came out very clean. They came out how I was expecting, and I will never argue with that. I like the formulas for these guys. I think these are pretty good head sculpts. The Bobby Eaton, I think, so depending on when I am able to get this up on the channel, it's either close to Black Friday, Thanksgiving, or it's after that and I've already made an order. But I plan on picking up a bunch of stuff on Black Friday and Cyber Monday through all of the sales. And I would like to get another Bobby Eaton. I think I have these parts, or I could use some like Mick Foley parts to make another version of him to have in the Dangerous Alliance. I also wouldn't mind just making another set of Midnight Express. Obviously, this is the Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton version, so there's some other iterations of them that we could make, but this is just always what I think of. And they weren't this is before my time, the Midnight Express, but I did see the Jakks Classic Superstars 2-pack is one that I still vividly remember in the blue attire, and I'm pretty sure that was Stan Lane and Bobby Eaton. So I do have both of these here. I really, like I said, I really like how they turned out. I did have to get this in here. So very, very simple fix up to I can barely even call it a custom. But here are my Midnight Express. Yeah, Midnight Express. With everyone's favorite internet wrestling personality, Jim Cornette. It's a Jakks Bone Crunchers head sculpt that I picked up at my local comic store, so very cartoony. I have thought about repainting it to see if I could give it a little more just lifelike look with some paint texture in there, but I'll probably just order a head sculpt of his. I used just some big Build-A-Figure parts that I had laying around to throw this together. And I don't even have, like, I kind of needed to make a Midnight Express, so I had someone to pose my Cornette with. I think I had him next to Yokozuna and custom Owen Hart of mine. But I will be making it, like, older and younger Cornette to go with some tag teams here. But that is it. It's going to be a short wrap-up here. Not much to talk about. It was pretty simple with the decals. Barely any painting. Just a nice, easy, smooth day. So if you made it to the end here, I do appreciate it very much. Please continue to like, share, subscribe, and remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude out.